All right, I think Sulabh, we can start now. You can go in a presenter mode, and there are a couple of people joined, and a few people will be joined from YouTube. You can start now. So everyone, whoever is attending, this is the same way we do every Saturday, one webinar on some of the topics. This is today we will be talking about fundamentals of CI/CD pipeline in DevOps. Our speaker will be Dr. Sulabh Tyagi, who is a doctor on computer science. And Sulabh, you can just quickly introduce yourself and start the presentation.
Thank you so much, Niladri. Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Sulabh Tyagi. I am PhD in computer engineering, and my thesis title was on Agile software development. I did my PhD from University of Delhi, and I am working as an assistant professor, senior grade at JP Institute of Information Technology, Noida. And today I will be taking this lecture on fundamentals of CI/CD pipeline, continuous integration.
So before you start, Sulabh, we are actually not seeing your presentation slide. We are looking at on the slide. So
okay. Now it's fine.
Yeah, it's better.
Yes. So today I will be presenting this lecture on fundamentals of continuous integration and continuous delivery pipeline in DevOps. So this is one of the building blocks of DevOps. So first, before I will be taking you through the CI and CD concepts, we all know Agile Manifesto, and our first Agile Manifesto says that working software over comprehensive documentation. It means we all know how Agile works. We all know Scrum. We all know XP, different frameworks in Agile. And we need to develop a working piece of functionality within a time box duration of maximum 14 days to 28 days. How to ensure quality and timely delivery within such a short time span. So where comes this CI and CD parts come into play? So continuous integration, CI, and continuous delivery, CD, are two most popular and valuable processes under DevOps that ensure high quality and timely software delivery. So what is continuous integration? Continuous integration is a software development practice where all the developers are continuously integrating their code changes back into the code base. When I'm saying code base, it means the central repository. It may be GitHub, right? So idea is that whenever you are working on any software development projects, you have multiple developers, right? And each developer might be working on different functionalities, different features, but they are basically working on individual features which should be combined and integrated together in order to develop a fully functional software, right? And if we will not speed up the development as well as the integration of those features, we cannot get that whole fully functionally developed software, right? So continuous integration plays a very significant role in that practice. So I will try to explain you the CI process in a nutshell diagrammatically. So step one is you have to make as I told you, you have multiple developers working on a piece of functionality, and they do regular changes in their on their PC or on their local machine, right? And they basically integrate or push their changes to the central repository like GitHub, and then series of tests should be executed on that changed code, right? To test whether that code is working fine or not, right? So you have to execute unit test, right? It can be a JUnit framework. You can use JUnit and unit. It depends on your project. Now, there may be two outcomes when you are executing those tests. Either test will fail. If the test will fail, you have to fix that code. Again, you have to, your code will change and you have to repeat that practice, and you have to integrate that code back to your central repository, and you have to again execute the unit test. If your test will pass, you have to further do the code changes process according to your project and depending on the features you are working on, right? So this is an ongoing process, and this is also known as continuous development and continuous integration, right? And also continuous testing. So basically, an idea is that every practice, every technical practice under DevOps, whether it's development, whether it's testing, whether it's integrating your code to the central repository, everything should be on a continuous basis, right? So if you have any issue, even you can ask me in between. This is in a nutshell. I have given you a glimpse of the process according to the how software teams works when they practice continuous integration on their projects. So if you have any question, please ask me.
And if anyone who is watching on YouTube, if you have any questions, you can ask on the comments as well. Yeah, I think we don't have any questions as of now. You can go ahead.
Okay. So CI involves following best practices. You have to ensure that your all development code is subject to a version control system. It means you should be using some version control system. As I told you, for local changes, you should be using Git, and for the remote repository, you should be using GitHub. So what is version control system? I try to explain it quickly. Version control system means we all know that as a software developers, we are working on a piece of functionality. And now suppose we are integrating our code to the central repository and some bug comes in, right? And we have to fix that bug, and we again have to build that code, right? And we have to integrate that code to the remote repository. But now whenever we are building that code again, right, it means we have to keep a version on both the builds. On first build when that code have failed, and the another build where we have fixed that code. It means suppose if you are using version 1, so first build will be termed as 1.1, and after the fixing of that particular defect, it will be termed as 1.2, right? So this is how this version control system works, and it is a very crucial and important activity of the CI and CD pipeline. You have to adopt an educate code review process. It can be a desktop code review or a peer review, right? Or you can also do the automation. There are multiple automated tools for this also. So it's totally depend on you and your project. And changes to the code, as I told you, should be integrated, built, and tested quickly, right? Build process integrated to run automated unit test. It means, as I told you, your development and testing should be on a continuous basis. It means you are in a position to build as well as test every code change on a continuous and a regular basis. So it should only be possible if you are using some automation, test automation framework, right? You can use NUnit, JUnit, robot framework, depending on your requirement, right? And you have to attend the build errors immediately and turn around quickly on those build errors. You have to keep a tracking of all the builds, build errors, matrices of build results, and a repository management system. Your entire this continuous integration, continuous development, and continuous testing process should be transparent and user-friendly. Now, what is the continuous delivery? So far, we have understood the concept of continuous integration. I hope everyone should be able to at least relate that what continuous integration means actually, right? Now, continuous delivery is the process of extending the continuous integration. It means we are going one step ahead of continuous integration, because what will be our ultimate objective by doing all the DevOps practices? Our goal is to deliver the final piece of functionality or our software to our customer, right? This is our final goal. And for that, we have to use the continuous delivery as well. So it means after the successful integrating all the features from all the developers, we have to merge them. We have to build that code, integrated code. We have to test it. And then that build should be able to, it should be release ready, right? And that particular latest version of the software should be readily available. So every change passed through the testing cycle from the technical and quality standpoint should be there to check the deployment readiness. And you have to also automate the shipment and deployment process. This is basically a part of, if you are deploying to the end customer, I will also tell you in the next slide, there is a very small difference between the small but very important difference between the continuous delivery and continuous deployment. So continuous delivery is the continuous deployment is the extension of continuous delivery, right? So now this flow diagram will give you the exact picture of whatever I have told you. So I will try my best to explain you that how it works whenever we are working on a real-time project, right? So as I told you, you have a group of developers working for developing a piece of functionality or a software for your end users. So you have your local development team. They are supposed to integrate their change to the remote repository. As you can see in the second block, they have to basically create feature branches, and they have to first work on the feature branches, and then they have to push their code back to the remote repository, and they have to execute automatic tests, unit tests and integration tests on that code, right? Suppose you have 10 developers and every developer is basically working on one feature branch, then in the end, you are expected to merge all the 10 feature branches to one master branch, right? As you can see, its output is going back to the merge into mainline. Mainline is your master branch, right? So up to this process, your continuous integration is basically you are doing continuous integration practice. If you are doing this practice, that you are taking all the codes from all the feature branches and merging into the mainline, right? And now this first block in the second row is basically CI build. So what is CI build? Now here Jenkins comes into picture, or Travis. It means you should have a continuous integration server in place in order to pull the code from the mainline and put that code into the CI/CD pipeline. This is the idea. It means you are getting the code, merged code from the mainline, and you are putting that code into the delivery and CI/CD pipeline, right? So CI build is basically the combined all integrated build. Now you again have to test that CI build, right? In order to check whether all the features from all the respective feature branches are working correctly or not. And now if it is working correctly, you are good to go to deploy it to the various environments. So here you can deploy it to the test environment or staging environment or pre-prod environment, right? And you have a series of further, you have system testing, then you can have user acceptance testing, right? And on successful completion of all the testing stages, you are good to go to the final stage, that is deploy to production. So now please carefully uh, uh, pay your attention to this point, that after this second last stage, acceptance test, is if our all the tests have been passed, we are good to go to deploy to the production. Now, if this process of deploying to production proceeds after the manual approval, or you need any kind of approval for this stage, it means you are waiting for the approval after the acceptance tests have been passed in the staging environment, but you are delivery ready, but you are not delivering to the production environment or the production servers yet. So it means you are doing continuous delivery. But if that manual intervention or approval has been removed and you are directly delivering to the production environment or the production server, it means you are doing continuous deployment, right? So this is the significant difference between the continuous delivery and continuous deployment. So developers create code changes in the local workspace with an integrated development environment. It's developers can work like, you have Eclipse, you have Microsoft Visual Studio if you are using .NET, right? You have build tools like Maven and Gradle. You can also use cloud-based IDEs. Developers are expected to perform unit level testing, all kinds of data validation, code performance checks, and so on. The code changes done by the developer are pushed to the source code management system like GitHub on a continuous basis. The source code version and repository management system should be in place. A CI server for continuous integration and creating a pipeline should be in place. A process scheduler. Now we are, once your job, we call whenever we create any job to get executed through Jenkins, we term it as job, right? So a process scheduler to initiate and orchestrate the orchestration means managing the pipeline, right? So that all the different stages of pipeline proceed smoothly without any manual intervention. So you can also schedule your jobs, right? So at which point of time during a day you want to want Jenkins to pull the code from the mainline and supply it to the pipeline. A build process to manage code builds and schedule tests. A testing process, as I told you, that testing plays a very, very pivotal role in the CI/CD pipeline. You have multiple levels of tests. You need perfectly test automation, provisioning, and environments and automated tools in order to create that particular significant automation testing infrastructure, right? Artifact repository to store your build triggers, scenario and acceptance tests on the test nodes, and finally you have to also need containers to deploy your builds to the production servers, right? Like Docker. Then you have for orchestration, you have Kubernetes, right? So this is the advanced concept. So acceptance tests for application deployed on the runtime systems. Now, as I told you, this step, I have already told you, the quality manager will approve the acceptance tests to agree to the deployment test system. So once our UAT has been passed on the staging environment, the quality manager will approve the acceptance test that yes, now the software is ready to be deployed to the production, and delivery manager will approve the application deployment to the production environment, basically, right? So it means if you need this kind of approval, it is you are doing the continuous delivery. But if you don't need this kind of manual approval, you can directly write from the build stage to the test stages to the different environment and UAT, and finally you are directly deploying your build to the production. Then you are doing the continuous deployment. So this is a CI/CD pipeline. So you have a version control system, right? GitHub. Then you have to build the code. Every code change you have to build. Every code change you have to unit test. And once the unit test passes successfully, you are good to go to deploy it. Now, this deploy is not the deployment. This deploy means you are ready, or you can deploy your past test or past code to the different environments, right? And different configurations. As I told you, you can have the testing environment with Windows OS, with Linux OS, with iOS, right? So you can have the multiple combinations of environments, and you should be testing on all those environments, and those tests should be automated. And if all those tests should be passed successfully, then finally you are ready to deploy to the production. And finally, you have to measure and validate all your tests and monitor it. And every stage, as you can see, is basically has a feedback loop. So if your build fails, or if your unit test fails, if your regression test fails, if your UAT fails, every stage should have has a feedback loop. And after the fixing of that particular defect or bug, again that build goes back to the version control system. So this is a CI/CD pipeline in a nutshell. So this is about the CI/CD pipeline. I will also get you through the Jenkins, that how you can basically create this CI/CD pipeline. So if you have any doubt, you can please ask me if you have any doubt in the slides, or I will move to the Jenkins.
Yeah, Aishwarya, what is the difference between the unit test and auto test? So how far they are different to each other?
Yes. Yeah, Bala, right?
Yes.
Bala, difference between unit test, it means suppose you are working on a suppose your client wants a e-commerce website, e-commerce platform, right? You are working, right? And e-commerce platform, mainly you have user registration service, you have add to cart service, you have product category service, you have payment system, right? These kind of services you have to develop. Now, suppose you are working, or you are responsible for the user registration part. It means it is a one module, right? And separately you are going to develop it. You are not concerned as of now for the product category, or add to cart, or payment category, right? So if you are developing the code for user registration system, it means you are creating the code that any user can go to the website, click on the user registration tab, and the form will appear, and user will supply its all the information, including name, address, zip code, email, phone, right? And according to you, you have developed that code. So now if you are testing that code, right, you are testing that code independently and in isolation with other modules which I told you, add to cart, or product category, or payment method. So if your code is working fine independently, you are doing unit testing. Is it clear?
Yes. Yeah. So you will altogether test and with the entire system.
Auto test means, as I showed you on the previous slide, that was a flow diagram. After deploy, it means now the control is with the Jenkins, and you are basically have the merged code, right? And after the merged code, it means you are no longer doing the unit test, you are doing the system testing or regression testing. So should I explain you the regression testing also, if you wish?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay, Bala. So
what superimpose all the features of all the existing code, and you'll see.
Yes. So idea is that suppose if you are working, Bala, suppose you are testing it and you have merged that code, but suppose there is some defect or some problem with the code in payment method, or suppose if there is a next build or in a next iteration, your customer wants to support any other payment gateway, right? So what you will do, you will have some other, you will have that extra feature in the next cycle, or I would say a next iteration, next sprint. Then in auto test, you have to do regression test. It means you have to test whether that functionality which you are currently which you have currently developed of that payment gateway, it is working fine or not. And you also should be doing, and you are required to test other associated functionalities, and you have to, and the objective that other functionality should remain intact. Your current functionality of that extra payment gateway should not altered or hampered the existing functionality. This is known as the regression test, right? And you should have a round of within a sprint. I hope if in today's participants, if you are working in a software industry, you should relate that you should have a multiple rounds of regression during the sprint as well as the subsequent sprints. And also for every beginning of every new sprint, you are supposed to perform regression tests in order to test the features from the previous sprints and the next sprints are working correctly or not, right? So this is basically the difference between the unit test and the auto test. And auto test means, as I told you,
Sulabh, question.
Yes.
What is the tool used for automation testing?
Yes, I am telling you. Automation tests in Jenkins has a plugin facility for Selenium. Selenium is the industry standard. You can use Catalan as well, right? You can use Robot framework as well, right? But Selenium is the industry standard because Selenium supports both Microsoft Visual Studio, means you can write a test in Python, in C#, in Java, right? And you can write unit tests as well in Selenium. You can write regression test as well, and you can write UAT as well, user acceptance tests.
Okay, one quick question. In this diagram, the measure and validate does not have connected to loop, right? It is separate.
Yes.
Any reason how it is getting connected, how it is getting the data from measure phase, and how it is
idea
passed
is to
on
pipe
feedback?
it in. Yes. See, the idea is that measure and validate means it is a kind of means monitoring is anyways. Every stage has a monitoring system, right? Nagios and is a tool for the monitoring, right? Which most of the DevOps projects use Nagios. Measure and validate means that whatever means this measure and validate is taking care of each and every stage. It is not the extra stage. Means stage is over. Deployment to production, every stage is over. Measure and validate means every stage is basically what I can say that every stage is basically underneath the measure and validate umbrella, right?
No.
It is not the
that is the feedback.
Stage.
It has to also be connected to the feedback loop, right? Then only the whatever you're validating, yes, pivot or persevere, then only it will go back again to the main loop if anything to be corrected or to be removed or added or something. How do you know that?
That is fine. I am telling you in this diagram, this measure, you are right. Your doubt is right. That's I am absolutely getting your doubt. But measure and validate, what I want to convey is that measure and validate is basically integrated automatically in all those stages. It signifies that. So it doesn't need any, because see, if I will show measure and validate feedback loop, there is no need to then show the other feedback loops, because it shows that we are not waiting for the last stage to measure our work or measure our code or measure or to evaluate our results, right? So this is basically taking care of all these stages. Basically, this is automatically happening, and measure and validate should be integrated in all these stages. That's the idea.
So, okay, who are the service providers for this implementing CI/CD pipeline?
Sorry?
Who are all the service providers for implementing CI/CD pipeline? Can you? Suggest.
Service provider, there is no as a service provider. May I know your name? Casey.
Yes.
Yes, Casey, basically as such, there is no service provider. You have to create this pipeline. This is a combination of tools. For each and every stage, you have to use a set of tools. This is a combination of practices, right? So you are combining 10, 12 different practices together. You have 10, 12 set of tools together. Then you are building the infrastructure. So I will having a next session, I think, Niladri, in April, right? I will be taking care of the infrastructure as code.
Yeah, I need to check the date, but somewhere in April.
Yes, yes. So Casey, I request you to attend that session as well. It will solve you down. This is not a service. You don't need a service. You can do this CI/CD pipeline as well. You don't, if and more, and as I told you, Jenkins is a open source. Selenium is a open source tool, right? GitHub is a open source. So you don't even have to buy licenses for these tools, right?
Okay.
Right.
All right, I think you can proceed further in case any other questions comes up. It will be appearing.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Oh, was that was the last slide?
Yes, I am just showing you the Jenkins as well, so that our participant has a look and feel of the Jenkins. And if they are interested, I may plan some hands-on sessions or, or training for Jenkins as a whole.
Okay. Are you opening any new application?
Yes,
Because
yes,
we are
yes.
seeing your thank you page only.
Yes, yes. Just give me 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yes. Can you see the screen?
We are seeing your thank you screen.
No, I have shared another screen right now.
No, but still it's coming up as your thank you screen. You can stop.
So can you stop? Actually,
Yeah,
it is
you
not showing me the. It is not showing me the stop sharing. It is showing me only two options: resume share or. Okay, okay. Just hang on. Now, can you see the screen? New screen?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So, friends, this is a Jenkins screen. This is a CI server, continuous integration server, which takes care of pulling the code from the GitHub and then put the code into the pipeline. So you have to create a pipeline for sure. So there is an installation steps involved also. So if we will be doing any trainings, I will let you know the whole process of installation of Jenkins and how to set up it, right? So let me log in into that. Right. So first of all, I'm giving you the very simple example. If as a developer you are doing it, so I am giving a demo job to. We can select a freestyle project. Now here, if you wish, you can write the description of that particular module for which you want to build or test, right? If we want to take from source code management system like GitHub or Git, we can select this option, but for this job, I'm not doing it. You can add build steps, right? How you want to get this job execute it, whether you are doing it as a Windows batch command, whether you want to using a shell script or not. So for now, we are using the Windows batch command. I'm doing echo %date %. Right. So it means I have I'm doing a command for displaying current date and time. So I'm applying it and I'm doing save. So here is our job. I am saying build now. You have to say build now. Okay. That's the our build which I have executed. Let me check the console output whether I'm getting the date or not. So yes, this Jenkins has executed this job for me, and it is displaying me the current date, that is 18th of March 2023, and it is showing me the current time, that is 21:10:12, that is 9:10 p.m. right? And it is also showing me the status, that is this job is success, right? Now let me take you to the example of pipeline, right? Now I'm saying demo pipeline 1. So if you want to create a pipeline, then you have to select the second option, that is pipeline. Okay. Now here you have two options, right? Just a moment. Yes. So here either you can write all the script manually here, right? It was a traditional process. Nobody uses that. Now we use declarative pipeline. Declarative pipeline means you have a Jenkins file ready with all the necessary Groovy syntax, and then you can check out that file from your source code management system, which I will do that. I will check out it from GitHub. So I'm choosing it, and I have to choose my SCM, that is Git. I have to provide the URL. So that's my GitHub. I have already my Jenkins files here. So this is GitHub. I hope you know that. So this is where my Jenkins file basically exists. So this FF project has my Jenkins file. I have to copy it, and I have to paste it. Right. So my Jenkins file is in my master branch. So it is showing me the master branch in my on my GitHub. It is also showing me the Jenkins file, that is my Groovy syntax is basically in Jenkins files, which is hosted on my GitHub. I simply say apply, and save. Right. So I will say build now. As you can say that these stages are basically executing, right? So only declarative checkout is basically passing my compile, testing, and deployment stages are basically failing. Due to that, I have not integrated the MVN, Maven, and Selenium plugins. So if I will add those plugins, these stages will also pass. So just for the reference purpose, I have shown you that this is a process of basically executing your pipeline, right? So let me that's the console output. So it is basically Jenkins checkout my Jenkins file from the GitHub, right? And these are the stages if you can see. This first the build stage, then the testing stage, then the deployment stage. So like while you have test stage, unit test stage, you have integration test stage, you have regression test stage, and finally you have deployment stage, right? So you have to, but first you have to install the plugins as well as integrate the plugins to the Jenkins, as well as you have to write those plugins and associations in your Jenkins files. Then all these stages will work correctly. So this is a kind of small demo from my side. If you have any question, please ask.
All right, I can see there are kind of 13 people who are watching in YouTube, and over here also we have 11, 12 people. If anyone you have time and you have some questions, feel free to ask. You can write us that if there is some other topics that you may be interested in, you can let us know, and we will schedule something on that area. And if you have not received your all the meeting invite, you can register at our website for the virtual collaborations where we conduct every Saturday. So, we talk about something. So we don't see we have much thing. So let's wait for a couple of more minutes, 2 to 3 minutes more, Sulabh. If not, then probably we will wind it up.
Sulabh, I have a question. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, Niladri, I got a poor connection. That's why I got disconnected. Yeah, please, if you have any question, please ask me.
Yes, Sulabh. So, for example, from the perspective of the Scrum Master, so what kind of measures and metrics you should be assessing or coaching the teams in improving the DevOps practices?
See, first of all, you have to make it sure that your continuous integration process should be adopted thoroughly. Your developers, as I told you, the CI/CD processes, some 8-10 pointers, they are doing that. You have a proper build management system. You have proper source code management system. You have a proper testing process, unit testing, integration testing, right? So as a Scrum Master, you have to just ensure that all this process is basically first present in your team and then followed right in a right manner. Then I can say that yes, your DevOps practices, you can reap the actual benefit of DevOps practices or a CI/CD pipeline, right?
Sure, yeah. And the continuous deployment, is this recommended for the new teams who are doing MVPs and all, right?
Continuous deployment, I would say, Bala, it is not from your end which you should decide. It's basically from the customer's end, because in most of the cases, as you know, I know from the as I do also do research. So Uber has few its products, it prefer continuous deployment, right? So because it is 24/7 kind of service, right? So it's totally depend on your project and from the client requirement. But I would not say that you cannot do that. But yes, continuous delivery, if you are doing till the continuous delivery, it is fine, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a sweet spot which every product will aspire to go, right? Continuously, but it's
Right.
depends on the type of product as well.
Right. Type of the product, then business critical or your business risk also. There are multiple parameters which decides it, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Shiva.
All right, I think that's all for the day. And thank you everyone who joined here, and thank you everyone who joined on YouTube. I think, Saurabh, we got one message from YouTube. Shashank Saik is asking, is this Jenkins or GitHub licensed version?
No, they both are free, absolutely.
Okay, great. And he is also asked another question. Who should do CI/CD? Is it a Scrum Master or developer?
First of all, both are the misconception. As a team, you have to do I will say that as a team, if you are asking hands-on, yeah, development team, including testers and developers, it's their job. But as a Scrum Master, it's your job to ensure, as I told Bala, that to ensure that process first, you should be making the process, and then you are ensuring that that process must be followed. Because otherwise, every team member will be doing a waterfall kind of thing. There would be no continuous integration. There would be no continuous testing, right?
Yeah,
So
at the same way, I will like to add that this is not whose responsibility. This is a culture that we have to bring in, and that culture.
Actually, DevOps is a culture.
Participate on their possibilities, how much they can. It's an organizational level culture that we can bring in.
Right. Yes, it's a very vast concept, Niladri. So that's why it's a very popular and a very widely used thing in today's software industry, and it's also very deep. So in order to capture all the things from the brim, we need at least 4 to 5 days training. So if we have some participants really interested in it, so I have already prepared courses on DevOps, so we can do that if you wish. So we'll have a proper installations, hands-on, and as well as the concepts. All these concepts should be clear very thoroughly, because we should be knowing that on Agile projects, what is DevOps rule, how much DevOps is basically enough, and on DevOps projects, if you're purely doing DevOps, how much Agile is needed, right? So it's
I think we okay. Thanks so much, Sulabh-ji and Niladri-ji. Very informative session it was. Okay, great. Thank you.
Niladri, I have a request. If our participant has no issues, can we have cameras on? Let's have one screenshot.
Yeah, so whoever are there, if you can come up on camera, if you're comfortable, you can come on camera. Let's have a screenshot. Sulabh made lots of efforts on creating this content, and he wants to see how people's reactions are.
Hey, all right, hi, Bala. Anyone else?
You're asking something?
No, we are saying hi.
Hey, hi. Niladri, hi.
Right, so we can see Jagdeep. Okay.
Yes.
So Jagdeep's background says they are in daylight.
Daylight. Oh,
daylight means it's the sunlight is there. It's not night.
Daylight. I thought daylight. The consultancy firm. So Jagdeep, what is your profile?
I'm a Scrum Master.
Oh, that's great. And where you put up right now?
Well, I'm with Niladri going for the RT training.
Oh, that's very,
So
very
we
awesome.
took a break to attend you, Sulabh. We were in between of a training.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful.
All right, I think other people may have some issues to come on camera. So you can take
No
a
issues.
screenshot. We got another Zoom user. I'm not sure what's your name is, but we can see someone.
Yeah, this is Ambuj. I'm from Texas. So
Oh, sorry, can you repeat?
this is
Anirudh.
Ambuj. I'm from
Oh.
Texas. Yeah, I'm in Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, from US you have joined.
Yeah, you can see the
I think
background.
we have a couple of
Yes, yes,
people.
wonderful greenery, right?
Jagdeep is from California, right?
Yes, I'm in California.
Oh.
Yes. You can see the greenery here as well.
So we have
And the beautiful
many
sunshine.
guys. We have many guys from US, huh? Yes.
Yeah, we think Esther, she is also from USA. Anupama, I'm not sure she is hearing or not. I think she is also from USA. Mostly people from USA joined here. And I'm not sure who are in YouTube. Okay, Syed Rafi asked some questions for you. I am working in non-IT jobs in 7 years. Which tech domain is best to get job? I am unsure with to learn. Okay, maybe Syed, you can drop us a mail at support@agiledigest.com. We will respond to you back and we can have a connect to talk on that area. Igor Solja mentioned, thank you guys, well done. Okay, great. All right, Sulabh, so probably we need to wind it up here today. And the people who have joined, thanks once again to taking your time and making this collaboration successful. We will be coming up with many new topics, different times. So one of the topics you will like to hear, that is called global referral architecture, which is very new on the DevOps world. So that is something eye-opening. We will be coming up in 2 weeks or 3 weeks later. Just watch in our calendar when it is. Don't miss that. That will be very interesting. I know people from a very big company who are having a very detailed knowledge of implementing DevOps in a organizations. There are more than 5,000 people working in same environment. That person will demonstrate it. This is a new concept coming up as a referral architecture. We will talk about that. So thank you. Thanks, everyone. And I will take one screenshot of Santosh also. Santosh just joined. I missed you. Okay, we will have your photo. Let me wind it up. And thank you, Sulabh, also for your time. We'll connect once again next Saturday. Till that time, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Niladri.
Bye.